Alright. Quarantine got me tripping. Bored up in the house, but we gonna talk about these modes. We gonna talk about these modes. About these modes. That's me. About these modes.
Talking to myself.
That's me. About these modes. Checking the whole setup here, which seems to be okay. What's good, fam? I'm going to talk to you like you're here already. I'm not going to wait for people to get on. This will be on the replay on YouTube for all to see. It's really quick. You'll also hear construction going on next door. Who's that? Robert Johnson. Robert Johnson sold his soul to the devil at the crossroads, but he is back. I'm sitting on my wallet. Can't do that. So before I start, for those of you let me try that again. For those of you who are watching the replay and haven't met me, my name is Ted and I talk bass. This channel is all about tips, tricks, and tutorials for the blue-collar bass player, not the people that are building the house next door. Look, if you find any value in this channel, in this video at all, you can do a couple of things. You can smash that like button. You can subscribe if you haven't done so already. If you're feeling extra generous, you can leave a tip at Venmo or CashApp, son of SONOFABASS, SONOFABASS. Let's get into it, man. The window's gonna stay open, so because it's raining here, and I like the smell of the rain. I don't care for the rain, but I like the smell of the rain. Yesterday, I talked about Ionian mode and Dorian mode and a couple of different places to look at those things, those modes across the neck. Today, I'm going to add another 2 modes. All right. Now, there are going to be lessons that are coming up that I have PDFs for. I just haven't put them up yet. I just want to go live with this. So as a quick review, the first shape that we started with was a 3-string shape starting. Hello from Argentina. Welcome, Argentina. Welcome. So there's a 3-string shape, not playing anything on the E string. So I'm playing. There's our first mode, Ionian. Ionian, the first note of the scale. The chord type associated with that is going to be the major triad or the major 7. Okay, another thing that I really want you to, the mistake I see a lot of people make is they want to learn the modes and automatically take the training wheels off and go straight to like soloing and stuff like that. Don't worry about that. Right now, get the shape. There's that mode. There's the triad. 1, 3, 5, 1, 5, 3, 1. Notice how I'm singing that. I'm reinforcing that sound in this fingering, right? I think that's one of the most important things that you could do. Then we talked about Dorian, the second mode of the scale. The chord associated with that is going to be the minor triad. This person comes on here like every time I do a live stream and asks me how old I am. I'm not telling you how old I am. I don't even know why you're asking. Here's Dorian. The chord associated with that is going to be the minor triad or the minor 7. So a practice idea for you is to play a mode and then play the triad, the arpeggio. So you're getting that sound. 1, 3, 5, 7, 5, 3, 1. 1, 3, 5, 1, 5, 3, 1. Sing the triad while I sing the arpeggio. I'm going to close the window. Because these guys are going ham next door building a house. It's a beautiful house, but I don't want to hear it. So hang tight. I don't think you want to hear that. There we go. So, and I'm back. So, Pete. Brandy Thrift, what's good, sis? What's up, Juan Hayes? Nice, Brandy, nice. Okay. 1, 3, 5, 1, 5, 3, 1. There's our Dorian. Here's our minor 7. 1, 3, 5, 7, 5, 3, 1. It's one of the best things you could do. Okay, so now if I'm looking at the scale going this way, there's the first note of the scale, there's the second note of the scale. We know that the next note of the scale is going to be a whole step away. There's our next note. The third note of the scale, that's going to give us our Phrygian mode. Once again, for you guys who are just joining, if you are new to the channel, smash that like button, smash that subscribe button if you want to leave a tip, if you find value and you're feeling generous. Venmo, CashApp, at SONOFABASS. Now, peep this out. We are live right now. Excellent. We are live. So, am I taking questions? I will take questions in just a second. MJ Morgan, what's good? Okay, so here's our Phrygian mode, okay? The third note of the scale. The DNA of this mode is going to be a root, a minor second, a minor third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, flat sixth or minor sixth, a minor seventh, and an octave. Anytime you have that minor third, you know that the chord associated with that is either going to be a minor or a minor 7. What's the difference between minor and minor 7? What are we talking about there? When I say minor, I'm talking about the triad, 3-note chord, right? If I talk about 7, I'm just talking about a 4-note chord. Chords are built in thirds, meaning that we go from whatever our root is, the third note away from there, and then we stack what we call stacking thirds. So a third from this note is going to be there. The naturally occurring third, not just any old third, but whatever third is. So for instance, this note is in the key of C. We're in the key of C. What's the naturally occurring third away from that is going to be there. So 1, 3, 5, 7, 5, 3, 1, or you can round it out with 1, 3, 5, 7, 1, 7, 5, 3, 1. So there's our Phrygian mode. But what we discovered yesterday is that now that I've been neglecting this E string, right? I've been neglecting this E string, but if I add that note and that note, there's my major scale. There's Phrygian, da, da, there's my major scale. So now look. There's my whole scale. There's the whole scale right there. Robert Johnson, I'm curious to know what your question was. I'm really curious to know what your question was. Type it in the chat. Brandy, thank you for buying some product. Thank you for buying some product. Everybody else, if you want to support, look, $2, $3, $5, $10, $100, you know, nobody has a handout, but if you want to support the channel, you know what I mean? Buy your boy a couple of cups of coffee, maybe. That would be cool. I was gonna say something else ridiculous, but maybe it's a good thing that I didn't. So here's our Phrygian mode. Well, not only are you learning these modes going this way, but you're also learning to see the scale. Da, 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 going this way. You're learning the scale up the neck. So that's why I'm saying if you take your time and don't just like really turn everything off and listen to the sound of the instrument, you'll start to see shapes and patterns open up, right? When I first started playing the bass, I played with one finger. I was afraid to leave the E string. I mean, everything was so daunting. You know, it was like really it was frightening for me, right? But once you start finding these patterns, you see that it's not so hard to get around the instrument, right? So anyway, so here's Phrygian. We know that we have a root, minor second, minor third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, minor sixth, minor seventh, and there's the octave. Well, if that's the third note of the scale, then the fourth note of the scale is right here. And that's where we find Lydian mode. The difference between I don't want to explain it that way. I don't like when people explain it that way, so I'm not gonna do that. I just edited myself. Well, we have the DNA of the Lydian mode is going to be a root, major second, major third. So that third tells us right there that the chord associated with that is going to be major or major seventh. Remember, if I say major by itself, or if you encounter a chord chart and you only see the letter by itself, then they're only talking about the triad. Now, if you see that note followed by a triangle and then a 7, you know we're talking about a major 7, a 4-note chord. So the arpeggio is going to be 1, 3, 5, 1, 5, 3, 1, 1, 3, 5, 1, 5, 3, 1 for the triad. Or we have 1, 3, 5, 7, 5, 3, 1, 7, 1. Why not? Because that's a part of the scale too, right? Let me see. I'm looking over here because I can't look at my phone because I can't see my phone. I can see it, but the chat is so small on there. If you guys have any questions, start dropping those into the chat, and I'll look at them. I'll try to address them as they come up. So get your questions together. Let's rap about it. Let's talk about it. I think maybe tomorrow night I'm going to go live. We're just going to listen to some music and learn some bass lines. That's what we're going to do tomorrow. Anyway, so remember, here's a practice idea. Go up. Oh, I told you something wrong. Root, or I didn't tell you at all. Root, major second, major third. Now, here's the thing about Lydian. Lydian has a sharp 4. What do I mean by sharp 4? I mean that the 4 is raised. It's not perfect. So that's the sound of a perfect fourth. If I raise that, augment that. So when I say sharp or augmented, I'm talking about the same exact thing. Just talking about raising it up a half step. Okay? So now this, why would we use that 4 in relationship to this root? Because here's our scale. That's the major 7 in the key of C major. So we're talking about the notes that occur naturally in the scale. That's the note. Okay? We're not using any notes that aren't in the scale. So root, major second, major third, sharp 4, perfect fifth, major sixth, major seventh, and the octave. So you could go up the mode, and you can go down the arpeggio. Or you can go up the arpeggio and down the mode. Right? So those are the only two modes I'm going to talk about today. I talked about Ionian and Dorian yesterday. Today we're talking about Phrygian and Lydian. Okay, so now we got a little bit of real estate. We got a little bit of real estate here. What's up, Lawrence? Oh, dude, singing is just, nothing. Thank you for the props on the Brown Mark interview, too. I mean, singing is the best way to get this connected to this, connected to this, connected to this. Because this on its own is just wood and strings. Get out of here. There is absolutely no music in and of itself in this instrument. None, right? So now that we're talking about this 3-string shape, and we've got 4 modes that we looked at, and I know I went through them quickly, but this is going to be up for the replay, right? We'll go up 1. I started at C major, starting on the root, 1 octave. I'll call out the fingerings real slow. 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, shift, 2, 4, 2, 1, 4, 1, 4, 3, 1, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 3, 1, 4, 3, 1, 2, 1. One of the things I learned from teaching music to little children, in the 8 years that I've been teaching in the school system, I've taught pre-K through 8th grade. And one of the very first things I learned was you cannot take yourself too seriously. So that's why when I get on here and I just vibe and do me, I'm going to do me. I don't have a problem with singing and being a little silly with it. So the important thing to look at right there is where the shifts occur, right? Where you're going to shift. So 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1. Now I'm going to shift. 1, 2, 4, 2, 1. I'm coming back down Dorian. Now I'm going to shift with my first finger. Here I don't have to do any shifting because Lydian is right next to Phrygian. It's like right next door to it. Okay? But again, it's important to see now that the rest of the scale da 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 is right there. Da 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 da. It's right there. So even from that position, I could go up 1, down the other, up 1, down the other. Look, I just did the same exact thing, but I didn't even move my hand. And truth be told, one of the modes that we haven't looked at yet is right here, Locrian. So up Locrian, down Ionian, up Dorian, down Phrygian, up Lydian. Now I'm going to save you from them because I'm going to save Mixolydian and Aeolian and Locrian for the next live stream. But let's see what the questions look like. So Dorian and Phrygian is basically Aeolian, only... No, don't know, Robert Johnson. Robert Johnson, if you make this more complicated than it need to be, I'm coming to your house. Coming to your house. You think the devil was something at the crossroads? I'm coming to your house, Robert Johnson. Don't think about... Don't do that, bro. I don't think you should do that. The shapes are similar. The shapes are similar. But if you say Dorian and Phrygian is basically Aeolian, you're adding some... They're different modes, right? They have different characteristics. The shapes are similar. The chord types associated with them, with Dorian and Phrygian and Aeolian, are similar to Locrian. You're going to make me go there. So in a major scale, you've got 3 minor chords or minor 7 chords, right? That's the 2, the 3, and the 6. Did you notice how I had to, like, my mind had to, like, work in order to make the number 6? If you didn't see it, I saw it, and it's worrisome to me. It's worrisome. It makes me think that my time is coming. Put me out to pasture. You have the 2 is minor. So Dorian is going to have the same arpeggio shape as Phrygian and Aeolian, but Locrian, which you didn't ask about Locrian, but Locrian has a flat 5. But we'll talk about Locrian later. It just has a flat 5. But if you were soloing or something like that, what scale tones you would use would be different, right? The shapes would be, the same. The arpeggio shapes would be the same, but the scale tones would be different. Locrian is half diminished. If we're talking about the 7 chord, it would be a minor 7 flat 5. So not fully diminished because the 7 isn't flat. Some modes are major, some modes are minor. Absolutely. So if you look at your major scale, for instance, like a box of crayons, you could say, there's a green. There might be a brown. That might be a gray. Maybe a blue. Might be a yellow. Let's say that's I don't know, somebody give me a color. Another dark color. That's like a black. And then we're back to our... You know what I mean? Got 2, 3, 6 are minor. 1, 4, 5... No, 1, 4, and 5 are major. 7 is diminished. 7 is like the oddball in the whole thing. The 3121 purple. MJ Morgan, let me know if you hear me. Let me know if you got me on that. 7 is diminished or half diminished. It's not major. Seven has a minor 3rd and a flat 5. And it's the only one that has a minor 7 and a flat 5. I mean, it's the only one that has a flat 5. Is Now, if we're talking about the way that each one of those chords functions, because there's such a thing as chord families, the 5 chord and the 7 chord are what we are in what we call the dominant family, and they have this job to do, and that is to bring us back to 1. So that's 5, 1, and then 7 also wants to bring us. Now, see, my chording deficiencies are gonna be evident here. That's horrible voice leading right there. So I don't play a lot of chords on bass. My chord voice leading was sucky there, but the 7 chord and the 5 chord, their job is to bring us back to 1. So 7 isn't major then. Yeah, I think she's cool. No, you're good. You're good, Robert. So to piggyback off of yesterday, and bring it into today, and how you might do this whole thing, how you might practice this. Another practice idea I had yesterday was, so we talked about going around the circle of fourths, right? So if I take Ionian mode, C, F, B flat. I'm going fast because you got to go watch the video I put up yesterday. E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B, E, A, D, G, and then back to C, or C here. Now watch, you gotta watch the video from yesterday. I don't want to rehash that too much, but then I took Dorian, and I went, instead of me going C Dorian to F Dorian, I still went around the circle of fourths, but what I did was I went D Dorian, key of C, G Dorian, key of F. C Dorian, key of B flat. You see what I'm saying? So this, you could take the same. That's funny. So you could take the same idea with Phrygian. So if I go E Phrygian, now I'm going to throw myself off right here. E Phrygian, I'm in the key of what? If I'm talking about E Phrygian, I'm talking about, I'm in the key of C. If I go A Phrygian, what key am I in? I'm in a key of F. So I'm still going around the cycle. I'm going to do this real slow. E Phrygian, key of C. A Phrygian, key of F. D Phrygian, key of B flat. G Phrygian, key of E flat. So you see now, even with what I'm doing right now, I gotta think about it a little bit, right? Because the point is not for you to, the point is not for you to do like some parlor trick and be calling this shit off like super fast. What's happening here is reinforcing the shape and the sound And knowing that this Phrygian shape is related to that key. So if you just have like an arbitrary, if you just like run this shape, if you just run that shape and you say, oh, I know Phrygian, but you don't know what the key is related to, like the parent key, then it's really kind of useless. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, we in 30 minutes. If anybody's got any more questions and not bad jokes, hitting with them. I have a question. How did you conquer your nerves when you have to play for a master in front of people? Like, I'll know the song. But my nerves would kick in at the wrong time. I got a story for you. When I was playing with Zigaboo Modaliste, maybe the first year, there's like 6 months in the first year, and Zigaboo would always do this to me. He would say, now y'all need to listen to this right quick, because this about to be some game for the ass. Where's the monster? I've developed, over this quarantine time, I've developed a really bad habit with these monster drinks. What's up, Rodney Jones? Okay. Zigaboo would always tell me, he would say, you know, if you have a good gig, I have a good gig. If you have a bad gig, I have a bad gig. For those who don't know who Zigaboo Modaliste is, he's probably one of the most sampled drummers in history, been nominated for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame 3 times, co-founder, writer for New Orleans' own The Meters. If you've ever played Sissy Strut ever in your life with any jam band or whatever, I had the pleasure of playing with the guy who wrote that song. So for about 6 months, I would get really, really nervous, and I would make the silliest mistakes ever. And what I discovered my problem was, I thought about it too much. I was way too much into my head. And when I made a mistake, it wasn't like I let it, not like the audience knew, but Zig was, if we would collectively, if anybody in the band made a mistake, he'd be like, come on, play it like you know it. And he would say that on the mic. Come on, play it like you know it. And they didn't know what was happening, but we knew what was happening, right? Somebody had to screw something up, and, right? But then you have a choice to make, and you have to make it really fast. Am I going to let this moment dictate the rest of the night? There were a lot of times when during that 6-month stretch, when I would let those moments dictate the rest of the evening. You know what I'm saying? And so I had to like break out of that. So there was like, when I finally came to this, like, I don't give a place, right? And I say that like, not like I didn't care, because I did care. But when I just was just like, man, I know the stuff. I done played the stuff. I done practiced the stuff. I'm human, you know, but everything I play, I got to be intentional about it. If I make a mistake, I got to somehow make that mistake be like I meant to do that, and not have it throw my whole game off. There was another, which Marcellus you playing for? Brandy, where you at? Levi Caesar shared a story one time, and he was talking about going on stage at Madison Square Garden with Prince, and he said, I love this story so much that my wall in my music class in Oakland had this as a mantra. But he said he put his hand on Prince's shoulder, and he said, good luck. And he said, Prince looked around at him and he said, I don't need luck, I practice. And so, you know, oh, you playing for, yeah, Winton, yeah, you got a tough audience there, Brandy. A tough audience. So yeah, that's dope, Brandy. That's real dope. But nerves, though, not that I don't get nervous, because I do. I do. I've been playing for so many years, man, and I still get nerves. You know what I mean? I'm not like above that. But when I go into it, I gotta I gotta be honest with myself. Hey man, how much did you shed? How much did you really get into this? You know what I'm saying? And that's gonna be that's gonna be kicking my. I feel like I get crushed the most if I know I'm walking in a situation like shit. I ain't really ready for this, and then I screw up, and then I'm more mad at myself. You know what I mean? So. Any other questions? Any other questions before we adjourn? You gotta watch the video from yesterday. I know it. I know that it was fast. I know that it was fast. I know there's a lot of information, but I think it's digestible. I think getting Yeah, I mean, nerves. You're going to tie these modes in with the 1 chord, 2 chord, etc. Sure. So, let's do that real quick. I'm in the key. So, let's go with this 4 fret. When I'm saying 4 frets, 1, 2, 3, 4 frets, right? Across 4 strings. Now, if you have a 5-string bass or 6-string bass or whatever, you want to know the scale as deep as the neck is, right? 4-string bass, 4 fret area. There's my C major scale, okay? The 1 chord, first note of the scale. 2 chord. Second note of the scale. Or, right? So you have a 1 major 7, 2 minor 7, 3 minor 7, 4 major 7, 5 dominant 7, 6, and I haven't gotten to these modes, minor 7, and then 7, minor 7, flat 5, and then 1 again. So what does that get you? Let's say I have a chord progression, like let's say CCM, contemporary Christian music or whatever, or pop tune or whatever. And let's say the chord progression is 1, 6, 4, 5, which a lot of them are. But I know this shape, right? I know this shape. Let's say that's all I know. Then what I want to do, let's say it's a pop groove. Chord shapes are in that one hand position. So 1, 6, 4, 5. That ain't the most inspiring thing in the world. But I think what helped me is when I realized I'm like, damn, there's a lot of songs sound the same. There's a lot of common chord progressions. And so like if you just like Googled common chord progressions, right? One 1 5 6 4. And I'm just saying if you didn't know, right? 1 5 6 4. 1 5 6 4. Well, here's my key of C major. Somebody says we're playing 1 5 6 4 in the key of C. Oh, well, what do I do with that? Oh my God, what am I gonna do? And let's just say it's 1 bar per chord. Well, I know this is 1. What I say was 5. There's 5. I gotta know where 5 is, and where's 6. And then there's 4. 1, 5, 6, 4. So many songs, and they don't obviously don't sound like that. I mean. I messed up the chord progression. Sounds like The Cure, low key. Heck yeah, man! All that shit sounds all that stuff sounds the same. That's how you survive a gig too. Is when you realize that all this music has common DNA. Once you find those little threads in the songs, you know what I mean. All like the things that get like popular and like really like shared and all that stuff on YouTube and Instagram and all that is like the really flashy stuff, or the really the reharmonized stuff and all that, and that's great, right? But a lot of people are also just trying to get through their church service, you know what I mean, or try to get through the blues jam, or try to get through, I got a gig coming up, and well, nobody has a gig coming up now, but say I need to learn 50 songs. How do I do that in a short amount of time? Or how do I go to a gig and people are just calling out songs, and how do I survive that situation? You know what I mean? So anyway, guys, 42 minutes. I promised I would not be long. Check out this video. I'm going to keep this up for a while, and then I'm going to put it on the membership side. Somebody was asking me about leaving a tip. You can leave tips in the super chat, or you can $sign Son of a Bass on Venmo and CashApp. Son of a Bass, SONOFABASS, Son of a Bass. All right, y'all. I'm gonna go and get myself back to doing schoolwork, and so yeah, I appreciate you hanging out with me. I will see you next time, and I think the next time I go live, we're gonna talk about I'm gonna just like if I may go to Twitch or something, because Twitch may have like less problems with copyrights or whatever. But I really want to go through and listen to, just like pull up random songs, bass lines, and I show you how I learn songs. If I was practicing for a gig or something like that, how to how to do that, how I do it, how it works for me, and maybe it'll help you. So anyway, you guys, peace. 2 fingers. Wash your hands. Y'all stay good. Stay healthy. I'll see you later.